welcome. This is
EAY Blast.
And we are here with a blast. So, we are here with a blast. So, looking at the conversations that we need to talk about, our relationships with our parents. The depth of the matter. Because it is complex. I don't know if you guys feel like it is complex. I did. I was telling you about a story when I was convinced at a point that I was not an original child at our home. I was convinced that I must have been adopted. Yeah. I told you. And not really because being a child, and not really because I was adopted, but because I would just formulate ideas in my head, because half of the things I wanted to do, for some reason, they always had a reason why I should not do it. Yes. You know, and so I was very convinced that if I was a child in this house, I would have freedom. But because I am adopted, my parents forgive me. I actually once told them. I did. So it actually got to a point where I remember every time, because I don't know, there's something about teenagehood and getting everything wrong. So every time, I remember one time my dad called me and he's like, Grace, and then I went, what have I done now? And then he's like, I'm like, no, because every time it's something wrong that I have done. So maybe you can just share what your experience has been, and maybe what your experience has been with your parents. The adults, go first.
My experience with my parents, I don't even know how to explain it.
Where? Is there a word in English that can help?
I don't think there's a word in English that can help. Both my parents were working, so it was a double income family. Both my parents were working from morning till evening, so we never really got to see them that much, but we would see them like during the week. Like in the evening when they come and you have done something wrong, like you understand,
you would see them.
You would see them. But if you have done something, if you've done nothing at all, then there's no point in seeing them. You get,
okay,
yeah. But we would spend time during the weekend, go to church, hang out, do all that. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know where to place it. Place my relationship with my parents. It wasn't a bad one, but it also wasn't a very good one. It was ish-ish.
It was ish-ish. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Caleb.
It wasn't bad. Yeah. Well, for my dad, he wasn't really around, but my mom was always present.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I owe everything to my mom.
I love it.
Yeah. Speak to that camera and talk to your mother. Talk to your mother right there.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Talk to your mother.
Yeah. I love you, mom.
I'm sure she's watching and going, yes, my son, all the whipping has brought results. All the slaps. All right, but that's a good thing. All right, Kyle.
I love my parents. I love both of them. They're nice, they're good. Thank you for being there for me.
Yeah. Cool. So, okay, yours is complicated.
I can get right into it. So, my relationship with my parents, it's okay, I'd say. I'll speak in two sets. So for my biological parents, I'd say my relationship with my mom is quite okay. It's okay, at least there's a relationship. But for my dad, I wouldn't say much about in there, out there. For my foster parents, who I think I've lived most of my teenage years with, it has been, I think I've had a lot of those moments, like the one you're saying that, and it's harder because you're adopted. But just, it's been interesting, just, they love me,
and you know they do.
I know they do, and I don't doubt it one bit, and they love me, yes, but sometimes I'm just like, did they just sit down and just plan on ways that'll make my life difficult? Like, they just sit and like, okay, so what do you think will make her life difficult today? Good, tell her this, all right. And any time that even though you'd think in your child mind that, I've planned out this, it's well, it's like, I only want to say foolproof, but as in you feel like you've counted all the adult costs, because when, so you bring out your idea, then they're like, no.
Why would you think like that?
Why would you think like that? And according to me, I'm like, what do you mean? I checked if this is okay, if this is fine, it's simple. No, it's not. no, you can't have that. I'm like, but are you serious? And like every single time, you feel like every single time you bring something up, it's like never, like it's never. So just understanding that. I think it's Debbie who was telling us earlier that they see the bigger picture. So,
She did mention.
yeah, so but I'd say my relationship with them is not bad. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's rocky, but it's good.
I mean, every teenager has that. Yeah. So you're not being wicked. You're not on your way. You're not on your way to hell. Like, bye guys. I made my mind. Okay. Viv.
I think for me, my relationship with my parents is not bad at all. It's okay. It's not like extremely good. Like there are those parents and kids you see, you're like, man.
I know, definitely. Yeah, they're like, Mom, I have a crush. Oh, darling, you do.
My mom will kill you. Like, sometimes you can just sit down with like Sonia and we're looking at like some parents and we're like, man, how does it feel to have such a cool parent? You know, because you don't really experience much of it. But it's not bad. But it's not like the really good type of relationship.
You mentioned something that is making me curious. What is your definition of a cool parent? Like as a normal teenager, now you don't have to go like as a Christian teenager, a cool parent leads me in the ways of the Lord. No, like and I'm not saying that's bad, but now as just an average teenager, what is the definition of, guys, my parents are cool? What's your definition of a cool parent? Sonia.
Oh wow, okay. My definition of a cool parent is parents that I don't have to be afraid to approach. A parent that we can, even though I'm on the wrong, as in we can actually sit down and talk about it. Okay, maybe it's an age bracket that I'm at, but I feel like it's a bit too much that if I'm on the wrong, I should be the one just sitting down and you finish all the lecturing, then I'm like, yes. Mom, I'm sorry about that. It's as in maybe just try and understand where I'm coming from, even though I'm wrong, like legit, child, you are wrong, you are walking in sin. Just be like, okay, Sonia, I'm not happy with what you did. Can we talk about it? Like, what led you, not hit a beer and meona. I don't want to see it again. Like, it's not that, because it's not that, okay, personally, I don't sit down and premeditate wrong, I will so not do this, So just maybe a sense of coming together to an understanding. Even though it's not my way going, just listen, basically, just listen. Yeah, and of course, like spending time, like just me and my parents, not us as a whole family. There's a difference. It can be we're all going, like we're traveling somewhere, it's a family vacation, we're all together. But then there's like, hey, Sonia, see we can have some lunch together, that would be so cool. I'm like, just me? Not my sister. Are you sure? Like, I'll be there. So that would be really cool. Just maybe just time alone with them. Yeah, definitely. That would hit the spot for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, would be you like a cool parent?
My idea of a cool parent. Basically, always providing everything that the child wants. Like
Once.
Everything that you want, in this case. Everything you want, like, Mom.
Yeah.
Mom, I want a car. Sure, darling, you can have it.
Like, cool parent is.
Yo, I got you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I say what I want, I'll just be repeating what I've just said. Sonia said what I will say, and also
Just say it.
it's true. It's the same thing, yeah.
Just say it
like
in
for
your
you, a
words.
cool parent, that's what again?
Huh?
Just say it in your words.
Oh, like they give you what you want. They're easy to approach, and they're fun.
They're fun.
Okay.
Sometimes our parents are really old, like the idea of fun. No, I don't know. I'm just putting this here because sometimes growing up, what my dad really considered to be fun. With all the love I can gather, Dad, what was that? That was his idea of fun, But anyway, yeah, sure.
I think for me, it's not really the parent who can provide everything that I want.
Okay, what do you?
Because if I ask my mom for whatever I want right now, I'm pretty sure she can give it to me.
Okay,
Like you get, so that is not my definition of a cool parent. I think for me, it's one thing that Sonia had said: a parent that I'm not afraid to approach.
Okay.
Someone that my mom or dad is someone that I can talk to when I have whatever issue, and when I'm on the wrong, you're willing to listen to me. Because I think our situation in Africa, if I could say that,
Speaking on behalf of all African children.
all African children, when I'm on the wrong, I'm on the wrong.
You're
You
always on the wrong.
understand?
You're
Even
never
always-
right.
no,
Always,
on
even when the
the wrong.
parent is wrong,
No,
I am
you're
on the
wrong.
wrong.
Even when you're coming to talk,
You're wrong.
Yes.
So my job is to
I
just
concede
sit there.
defeat.
Exactly. My job is to just sit there and listen to what you have to say. You scream, do whatever it is you have to do, and then I apologize and really mean it. Because if I apologize and I don't mean it,
It's
that's
not a
also
problem.
a problem.
There's nothing that it's
God.
okay. You can just no.
Yeah.
Apologize and you have to mean it.
Yeah, and you have to show that you're sorry. So I think for me that is really what bugs me. That's my definition of a cool parent: is someone who would actually listen
Okay.
instead of assuming.
All right.
Let me just add on that.
Yeah.
It's that's actually true. With the African parents,
From experience.
speaking from experience, with African parents, you're always on the wrong.
True.
You're always on the wrong. So, if you get a parent who can listen to you and understand you, that can be great.
Especially since you're a teenager.
Yeah, especially that you're a teenager. That's the
Or a
first
young
step of being
person.
wrong.
Yes.
So already you're a teenager, so you're wrong. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we'll actually talk about that. The fact that you're judged just because you are a teenager. So you feel like they didn't even listen just because they were like, at how old is she? 16. Rebellious. That is rebellion speaking, you know? All right, okay, Vivian.
For me, what a definition of a cool parent would just be like what everyone has said. Like you need to be easily approachable. I always, I don't want to say crave, but I always really like seeing those kids who would, like, they have a bad day maybe at school and they just go and run and tell their mom or dad. And they're like, oh, how does it feel? Yeah, so someone who's like just very approachable. I think someone who's also very I don't want to say with the times, but is willing to understand and accommodate whatever is going on currently, like in your time.
In your time, yeah, for real.
Okay.
Because I think we do have a bunch of parents who are, for lack of a better word, outdated in their beliefs and how they grew up and what was accepted or what was right, but then it's not the same thing today. Yeah.
I think I hear you. What you think is it is okay, we understand where you're coming from, but then there are these things that are happening. How then do I, as a teenager, still be in my time and still hear what you're saying as a parent? So growing up, there was a time when, so we're three girls, and there was a time when my dad decided we cannot wear trousers. And it was very bad because every time we had an event in school where, because you know where they're coming from. Them in that time, there was no way. Why would a girl wear a trouser? No, ladies do not wear men's clothing. Very biblical, you know. And I remember one time we were supposed to go on. You remember this Detol Hatran stream at a Hatran thing? So you get all the money, and it used to be fun because that used to be the one time when you all come in your best clothes, put together what you have. Then there goes Gracie and her long church dress, you know. So half the time I didn't want to go because you see the worst part. No, wait, don't laugh. No, the worst part of this was on top you had to wear the Detol Hatran t-shirt. So it got to a point, so looking back, I was like, why didn't I ever want to go for those things? Because you see, like, the way in the morning you guys meet up and guys are like, so these are the snacks, here's my phone, and then look at how guys are dressed in sunglasses and all. That was unacceptable. Where you go, sunglasses, that is demonic, you know? So it was not allowed. And so just being in that space and hearing, later on actually, he did allow us to wear trousers. And we loved him the more. We were like, thank you, Dad. But then my mom had a rule, if you're wearing a trouser, your t-shirt better be the size of a skirt because it must be hiding every other thing. So now you'd find us with oversized t-shirts and baggy trousers. But anyway. Yeah, but you know, so that was that. Okay, so now at least, I mean, they allow us to wear what we want and I understand where they're coming from, all right? So I think the final question I would want to ask before we end this session is, there is a general notion that teenagers want carefree parents. You know, like, so it is important to know, like, are you looking for a carefree parent? Like a parent who you get to their house at 12 o'clock and they don't even know where you are coming from. Like, yeah, exactly. So you find your dad watching telly, he's just smoking and just, hey, Sonia, had lunch? Sarah, you can eat something. Like, is that really what teenagers want? Do you think that's what would you want that?
Not really.
Not really.
Yeah. You want someone you can interact with. Yeah. If your day has been going bad, maybe you can talk to them and they'll give you wisdom. Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't. It's not like a teenager is looking for a carefree parent who will not tell you when you're wrong.
Someone you can approach.
Personally, I really appreciate my strict parents, even though sometimes I feel like they're a tad bit too much. I appreciate that. I just look at some of like my peers, my age, and I'm like, and yes, at some point you might be like, wait, you're allowed to come home anytime you want, and like they're chill with that, and you know, and sometimes you're tempted to start like to feel bad, and you're like, wait, your dad allows you to wear that. I'm 19 and I'm not allowed to wear what I want, you know. And you're like, but then at the same time, when I like look at it in hindsight, I'm like, you know, it's for my good, because like some of the standards I have is purely based on what they've taught me. Yeah. I appreciate the like parents who are like caring about your discipline and all that, but also sometimes it's too much.
Oh, I didn't get your question. I get it. Yeah, you want a parent who has values, who will give you principles, you know, because the world just doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
There are principles, you know, and you have to follow the principles in order to live well in this world. Yeah.
So the carefree also doesn't really work.
It's not.
Yeah, too much of everything. All right, okay, so there we go. I mean, the dynamics with. It is interesting how I was reading a book. It's called Running on Empty. I think I've shared it with some of you, and it is interesting how we love our parents so much, and sometimes you have very conflicting other emotions that come along in your relationship. But when you actually sit and reflect, you can actually say, oh yeah, I genuinely love and appreciate these people for the sacrifices that they've made and all that. But I think it would be nice for us to hear it from the parents' perspective. Like, I would want to know why my dad would just want me to show up in some long skirt and some blue t-shirt written the matter and so because he's not here, we at least have some people we can talk to who can tell us if they tortured their children.
Yeah, and maybe where they were coming from.
And where they were coming from in the torture chambers.
Yeah.
All right. So hang in there as we actually get to talk to Bob and Debbie, right? Yeah. All right. So we are EAY Blast. See you.